So we're going to be showing the film today on illegal checkpoints. Checkpoints by nature are illegal. They're a violation of people's constitutional rights, and what they are is false imprisonment. Whether it's for a minute, 2 minutes, or whatever it is, it's still a case of false imprisonment. Here, this gentleman
goes down an inch.
He's pointing out his window is only an inch down, so that way he can stop anybody from helping him, or at least aiding him from violating his personal rights. It has just enough room to speak to the person. So there was a utility vehicle that he says that they waved on through. Well, after this video, I'm gonna show you that driving is a right. It's not a privilege.
Papers, please. Papers, please.
They rewrote the law and the Constitution, or try to add their amendments to it to change it to be a privilege, but it's not. It's a right of every citizen, an inalienable right which cannot be voted away.
Evening, officer. Before we continue, I'd just like to let you know that you are being recorded right now.
Okay, that's fine.
So I would just like to know why I'm being pulled over.
We're doing a roadside safety check.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I being detained?
What's that?
Am I being detained?
Well, right now we're just conducting our job, making sure
Okay.
that everyone's on the road driving safely.
Okay. Is that
Yes, you are not free to leave right
so far? Everybody's being safe. Am I being detained then?
now. You're not free to leave.
Am I
Okay?
being detained? If I'm not free to leave, then you're suspecting me of committing a crime. Then am I being detained?
Making sure that everybody's driving safely.
Oh, I understand. Thank you for.
Now, I've explained
doing
myself.
that. Absolutely.
Okay. And we do have the legal right to stop you right now.
Oh, I
So
believe this is
okay, hold on,
unconstitutional,
hold on, I'm
but
speaking. Now, like I said, I've asked you for your driver's license and proof of
you
insurance.
actually didn't
Now,
ask
please
me
give it
for
to me.
my driver's license, but I'm actually not obligated to provide that if I'm not being detained.
What? You are
Whoa,
obligated.
whoa, whoa,
You're
whoa!
obligated. Get out now.
Whoa!
Get out now. Driving's a privilege,
Sir.
not a right. I'm telling you to get out right now.
Excuse me, I'm not.
We asked for your
resisting at all.
license and insurance. Yes, you are resisting
I
at
can
this
provide.
point.
No, sir, I
Then
can
give us
provide
your
it.
license and insurance,
Absolutely.
like he was asked.
Absolutely, sir. This is my license here.
Okay, now get your insurance. That's
Okay.
required by law.
All right.
Driving's a privilege, not a right.
Absolutely, sir. I completely
We're not going to
agree.
sit here and debate with you.
Okay, well, this is very unconstitutional what you're doing.
No, you know what?
And
This is not unconstitutional. I already explained it to you. Driving's
Sir.
a privilege and not a right.
understood. This is my driver's
Good.
license. My
Thank
insurance
you.
card. You're welcome.
That's what you're required to do to drive in Illinois. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
Do you understand
I would
that?
also like to inform you that you are being recorded right now.
Good.
Okay. Can I please
We're
shut
asked.
my door?
No.
Since I'm not being detained.
No.
What am I being detained for exactly, sir? If I am
We
being
asked for your
detained.
driver's license and insurance card, which you're required to have when you drive in the state of Illinois.
Understood.
Correct?
Correct. That is correct.
That's
and
what
I
you
do,
asked
And I
for.
do have that. Correct.
I don't
gave
know.
that to
I'm
you.
looking at it. You refused to
I
provide
did
it
not
originally,
refuse.
didn't you?
Absolutely not. I did not refuse anything.
Is this
I
your
said-
current address?
I asked. I would not like
Is
to
this
answer
your
any-
current
I'd like to
address?
remain silent, sir, unless I have an attorney present.
Is this your current address?
I would like to remain silent, sir. I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right.
Do you have a more current insurance card?
I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. Everything there is completely valid and legal, and I'd like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right from here on out, unless
I'm
I have
sorry,
an
what
attorney.
was that?
I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right from here on out,
What
unless
does
I
the
have an
amendment
attorney.
say?
That I have the right to remain silent.
Really? Are
Absolutely.
you sure?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Am I free to
Proceed
leave?
on. Yes,
Thank
you
you.
are.
You guys have a great night. And that, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is me tuning out.
So right here, the guy, basically, they didn't like it when he was saying that he has rights, and the guy even tried to threaten him and intimidate him. And the guy is right. And driving isn't a privilege; it's a right. No one can take it away. The cops can't take it away. And anytime they stop somebody, it is illegal because it is detaining. You know, it's detaining the person. It is false imprisonment, even for a second. So this guy had every right to argue the way he was arguing. Now I'm going to show you some stuff where you're going to be able to see kind of all the different stuff out there. This is a website right here. It's called imprisoning.com, and then it says right versus privilege. And if you look at these things, you can see right here that it says many different things, but it starts quoting stuff from not only courts, but from the Constitution and other sources that are valid. Complete freedom of the highways is so old and well established a blessing that we have forgotten these days of the robber barons and the toll roads. And yet, under the act, arbitrarily administered, the highways may be completely monopolized if, though lack of interest, the people submit, then they may look to see most sacred of their liberties taken away from them one by one, more or less, by more or less rapid encroachment. Robertson versus Department of Public Works. So right there, it kind of says that your freedoms will be taken away if you let them. The guy didn't let his freedom taken away, and he was able to continue on his business. Otherwise, he probably would have gone to jail, and they probably would have beat him up. The most sacred of liberties, which Justice Tolman spoke of, the personal liberty, is personal liberty, or the right to enjoyment of life and liberty, is one of the fundamental rights or natural rights, which has been protected by its inclusion as a guarantee in the various constitution, which is not derived from or dependent upon the U.S. Constitution, which may be submitted to a vote, which may not be submitted to a vote. So they can't submit it to a vote, and may not depend on the outcome of election. So they can't take it away. They can't take it away by a vote. They can't take it away by an outcome of election. It is one of the most fundamental, sacred, valuable rights, as sacred as the right to private property, and regarded as inalienable. So this right here, and then right here, it talks about the personal liberty largely consists of right of locomotion, to go where one pleases, so far restrained as the rights of others may make it necessary. So it only can be stopped by that you don't violate the rights of others, and is necessary for the welfare of all other citizens. The right of citizens to travel upon public highways and transport his property thereof by horse-drawn carriage, wagon, automobile is not merely a privilege which may be permitted or prohibited at will, but common rights which he has under the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Under this constitutional guarantee, one may therefore be, under normal conditions, travel at his inclination along public highways and in public places, and while conducting himself in orderly and decent manner. So pretty much the only time they can stop you is if you have probable cause, neither interfering which nor disturbing another's right. He will be protected not only in his person, but in his safe conduct. Constitutional law. And then right here, it says personal liberty consists of property or the power of locomotion, of changing situations, and removing one's personal or whatever place one inclination may direct. Of removing one's personal to whatever place one's inclination may direct. So basically you can go wherever you want to go without imprisonment or restraint, unless due process of law. So they have to use the process of law, which is a lot of steps. They just can't, pull you over the side of the road without any probable cause. So anyways, I would check this out and take a look at this. But this is the Constitution, and this is law, and that's what he was saying. This website is called arkenterprises.com. Then I have another one right here. It's called the Right to Drive. And right now, a lot of people are arguing that it's a right to drive. They're trying to take it away. And part of the thing about government is they don't run the show. The people run the show. And that's what I tell them. And kind of like the example right here where the guy was telling him it's against the Constitution. He was basically telling him it's the people that have the power. And the cop was trying to tell him, are you sure? And the reason why he was trying to see if he was sure, because if he wasn't, especially with their tools of using the internet to lie to us, then he was going to violate his rights. For many years, professionals with the criminal justice system had acted upon the belief that traveling by motor vehicle upon the road was a privilege that was gained by a citizen only after approval of their respective state governments in the form of issuance of a permit or license to that particular individual. Legislator, police officers, and court officials are becoming aware that there are now court decisions that prove the fallacy of their legal opinion that driving is a privilege and therefore requires government approval. And it's saying the case number one is that you cannot deny a citizen their right to travel on the highway, transport his property, or any of these things. And this is a proven case in Chicago Motor Coach versus Chicago. Then you have case number two, which is that the citizen has a right to travel upon the public highways and transport his property. You know, it's not a mere privilege, but a right, a common right, which is guaranteed under the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Thompson v. Smith. So it goes on and it shows a bunch of other things. And you can see this at the realtruthbit.biz, driving Supreme Court.html. The other last part is when we had 9/11 happen, I've been explaining to people where it started. It started with George Bush and his group and his administration, and they were really after oil. There was a couple things they wanted to get rolling. He couldn't really get no power, so he needed something to convince the people to support him in his things. And then, so it says right here, I put, where did it start? I knew that it started in Fresno because I lived there. And you see, smart start of California. It says Fresno DUI checkpoint. And so Jerry Dyer is, he not only met with George Bush many times, they kind of have similar roots. And I believe that he was his number one man for doing a lot of things and controlling everything. I would call him his number one cop. When the DUI program started here in Fresno. And, you know, it shows you some of the different things. But Fresno was called the drunkest city. And part of that was just to get, you know, support for violating people's rights. So we just see all the different things. You know, the first thing he did was when he came into power, he got rid of the Fresno's DA, which was Ed Hunt. And once he got rid of Ed Hunt for a DUI, then he just started creating a big old rat ship of cops turning on cops and all kinds of things. Before that, everything was really great. I mean, Fresno was such a nice place to live. And we really didn't have anything of their, his Ku Klux Klan or any of these other programs that these guys have been a part of and created on a wide scale. So right here, the drunkest city, and right here we got Fresno, California, among the drunkest cities. And it was reported as soon as he created it to give it the spin, the public buzz, they called it the drunkest city in the United States. And the thing is of course it's going to be called the drunkest city when not only the cops have the power to change people's records, their DMV, their court records and everything, and the biggest thing is in towing people's cars. So, and DUIs, it was a generate revenue off the citizens. So right here we just kind of see, and it's something that you can look up for yourself. But remember these websites: therealtruth.biz, driving Supreme Court.html or HTM, and then arcenterprises.com about the right to drive. And of course, our Illinois cop loses his temper. That's from InfoWars.